Oh, thank you. Tonight is the continuation of Module 1 to Module 2. Before I start, I'd like to share with you some information about tomorrow. Tomorrow is 6 p.m. We have the pleasure to listen to Vince Ong to talk about the back office. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, Vince Ong tomorrow at 6 p.m. will be speaking to us about the back office. And then, of course, tomorrow night, 8 p.m., we have the Chinese sharing for customers. So that's going to be something tomorrow that we'll be doing as well. All right. So without further ado and delaying any further, I'm going to just share my screen and get going. Now, this evening, we're supposed to be having a couple of role play, but unfortunately, the English version will not take place. Instead, the Chinese version will take place between Wendy from Ipoh and Lisa in Kuala Lumpur. The Chinese role play is very straightforward. It's going to be introducing the company from Wendy to Lisa. Okay. Now, periodically, on every Monday at least, we're going to try to seize this opportunity and have as many role play as possible, because we come to realize that this small little role play session helps to provide some encouragement to other people to be able to speak in public, even though you don't have people in front of you except your screen and your camera. But that apparently helps a lot, and also helps more to frame your thoughts. Okay, so something very simple like tonight for Wendy to Lisa in Chinese. I apologize for that, but for those that don't understand Chinese, so bear with us for a little bit. The English version will not take place unless Melanie, whom I asked to do the role play tonight, is in and able to have the child under control. Then we'll have her speak. Okay, so moving forward, this is module 2, part of the express start. So I will jump straight into it. So this is a schedule for those that missed on Friday. We finished module 1, which is really, you know, about how to set your goals and how to get going. Module 2 is very much an extension of module 1, with the exception part of module 1, which is the reading of the balance test report, is included in module 2. It's everything about leadership, and from there, then we have a little bit of a role play. Okay. Now, because we are now half of the exercise that we intended to, so that is going to be allowing us to finish off a little bit earlier. Module 3, now this is a question that I have, whether do we want to do it this coming Friday or whenever. So I need the audience here this evening to share with me, when do you want to do module 3? And then on after, we set the date, okay? I think the last time we talked about Friday evening at 8 p.m. maybe the most ideal time. So then we lock it in. Now, because there's 8 modules, a total of 11 hours, I try not to drag it into 8 weeks, which is 2 months, right? So we try to compress it as quickly as possible. So module 3 is learning the compensation plans. So there is a compensation plan book that I'm going to be working this talk about, and getting the corporate office somebody, so it could be with Vincent or Kenneth, excuse me, to talk about it on module 3. Module 4, back office tour, so take you through the entire back office, what does it do and how you can take advantage of it. And then working the back office, meaning to use the back office to help you do your business. So that's very, very important. Then managing your performance, so understanding how to use the back office as your radar, if you may, to guide your performance. That's something very important. And then after, growing your business, so how to grow your business with the use of the back office or without the use of the back office, running parallel to it. That's module 7. Module 8 then becomes achieving pro and top team, and that's going a little bit higher rank to chart out your career. Okay, so without further ado, this is the last screen that I left you guys with. Are you ready to become a brighter version of you? So all of us, in fact, most of us would have some innate leadership within us. Now, leadership is not born with. You don't born with being a leader. A lot of people say, oh, you're born leader, you're born leader. I so disagree with that, because leadership is everything that is cultivated, right? You may have some hint of a leader, but every... Huh? Oh. Sorry, Kate, you got to help me to manage. So what I was saying, that leadership is something that you cultivate. It's not something that you're born with. And the cultivation includes or must comprise of consciousness, right? So one person needs to be conscious and mindful before anyone is able to take the role of a leader or be able to lead. An unconscious or lack of consciousness, a lack of mindfulness leader is unfortunately the Parliament of Malaysia. Sorry, I have to put that one in because they're sitting ducks there. Sorry. Anyway, how to be a winning leader. Okay, this is the leadership development program, and there's maybe about a dozen of philosophies from Zinzino. Whilst I may be able to talk about it and see parallels to what the leadership philosophies of Zinzino is all about, but I will interpret it in slightly different. Now, before I get to that, I apologize. This next segment is about the balance test, how to read the balance test. Is a overflow from last module 1 that I could not finish in time, so I brought it into this particular session. So listen out, guys. This is zinzinotest.com. When you log into zinzinotest.com for yourself or for your customers, on the top right-hand corner is where you insert your Zinzino test ID. That ID is only one and unique, only one, okay? If you lose that piece of paper, you lose everything. And there's no way anyone is able to help you to track your test, because your test or your customer's test is totally anonymous, right? You don't put a name on it, you don't put a date on it, you don't put an address on it, or an email or any reference on it. So it's completely anonymous. So therefore, that slip is very, very important. So some of you would already have received your first test. Now, I'm not going to ask everyone if you have received your first or you have received your second, but I'm going to make an assumption that you have at the very least made one test, okay? And that one test would be the top one that I have here. More than often in Asia markets, we would be out of balance. We will be unbalanced state, okay? So there are primarily three status. There is the unbalanced, semi-balanced, and then the balanced state, okay? So unbalanced is red, the yellow is semi-balanced, and green is when you are in a state of balance, all right? So what does this test do? Primarily is testing the omega-6 and omega-3 essential fatty acids ratio, okay? There is actually, there's not a lot of tests out there that allows you to understand this. Now, this is very, very strange for a lot of people that is in the healthcare business. If it's such an important information to have, I wonder why are the world not looking at this more closely, because these are the markers or the benchmark to understand the potential state of inflammation in our body when we're out of balance, right? You would imagine, I would imagine also at the same time, that it is critical for people to understand where are the problems coming from. So Zinzino is very, very proud, if not ingenious, about this by getting down to the root cause of allowing global population now to understand when you are out of balance, what does it represent? it represents, as you know by now, it represents potential, if not a state of inflammation. And we also understand that a state of inflammation equals chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation leads on to non-communicable diseases or chronic diseases, right? So we know all that, but then somehow I don't know why the world is not looking at this as a early detector. It's just like if you are able to look at a early detection or early prediction of a disease like cancer, for example, it will be wonderful if you are able to see that, right? So this is the radar, if you may, your dashboard to understand where you are not at. Okay, so this report on the right hand side is actually mine. I started off with 23.5 to 1, and my second test after 100 days after is 7.7 to 1, which is not that fantastic. I only have about 67% improvement, unlike some of our friends that saw 89% tops improvement in their results, also under 100 days. So this is actually quite interesting kind of a feedback. Now, I could understand why I didn't get such a good or impressive improvement, because during the Chinese New Year period, I was piquing myself with all kinds of lap yok fan, lap nga fan, and lap cheong and all this kind of stuff, because I love it. And there was the time where a friend of mine brought me to some shops, and I bought a lot of lap nga, lap yok, and lap cheong and all this. And I loved it during that time, and I was cooking a lot of it. But that could very well be the reason. Now, I could share with you right now, one of the primary reasons why us in Asia, or at least in the Z Dream Team community, why we are seeing most of us in the region of 20 to 30-ish to 1, is because of primarily our oil. It's in the oil that we use and the oil that they use with the food that we consume. So it could go down to say that Malaysia, maybe we are not a very oil quality conscious community or society, right? Now, if we, I'm just saying because I'm a Chinese, I don't know what other race there are people here. If Chinese can be so bad, can you imagine the other race where they use a much more cheaper, much more lower grade oil, so that out of balance ratio will be a lot larger, right? So that's not the topic here to discuss about how people live, but primarily I like to say that, you know, one of the main reasons is because of the oil that we consume, or the oil that was used to prepare the food that we consume. Okay, so a little bit a deeper dive into this. The result actually just don't show the omega-6 and omega-3 balance ratio, but it also shows our protection value. It shows our AA index, our arachidonic index ratio, the cell membrane fluidity, sorry, a little bit of a tongue stiffness, your mental strength, and your omega-3 index, which is very important. I would define it right now, what it is all about. So before that, again, you can gain this access to these reports on zinzino.zinzinotest.com, where you actually go and enter the code and you gain access to it. Okay, so this is that very simple explanation of what it is. So I think it's very easy to understand omega-6 and omega-3, the AA and EPA balance, or out of balance, right? So we already know the essential part is to try to be 5 to 1 or better, or 3 to 1 as World Health Organization recommended, right? 5 to 1, as you know, you eliminate your risk to have cancer develop in your health. So that's very important for a lot of us, in fact, for most of us, right? But when you reach a ratio of 3 to 1, you completely minimize or eliminate your risk to a cardiac event. A cardiac event is better explained as a heart attack incident, okay? So a person like me with a broken heart, that's really where I really want to make sure that I'm in at a ratio of 3 to 1, so that I don't get a heart attack like I did many times, okay? So that's the ratio between omega-6 and 3. Now, the omega-3 level, which is the EPA and DHA level, is very, very important, because otherwise you don't know where you are. It's just like your black oil in the car, right? If you don't have a meter to tell you what's your level of black oil, and your black oil is to facilitate the optimized functioning of your engine, which is your organs in this case here, then you get into trouble, right? So it's very interesting and very important for you to understand what is your omega-3 level. So in this case here, in my previous one, I had insufficient. So insufficient 2.3% by 2.3% of omega-3. So I need to bump up my omega-3 level, right? So this is the beginning of my test. So the cell membrane fluidity is so important. Huh? Hello? Okay. Kate, can you? Yeah. Anyway, I was saying that the cell membrane fluidity index is very important because it talks about how healthy your cells are. Remember, balanced oil, which is the omega-3 oil with the polyphenol, vitamin D3 and E in balanced oil plus, works from the cellular level, right? It works from the cell level that helps to refortify or rebuild our cell membrane, allowing it to be soft and flexible so that nutrients can go in and toxic can come out. You get that common the logic, right? So the membrane fluidity index is critical for us to understand, and omega-3 fat helps that to take place, okay? So the mental strength is obviously what our brain is all about, and we need to have a fair balance between omega-6 and omega-3. So that's the critical number to tell us about our brain function, in this case here, mental strength. Your arachidonic acid level, the AA level, actually tells you how your body is utilizing or managing the omega-6 values, which is fantastic if you have some, but too much of it is actually no good, right? So you need to have enough, but most of us, as I've said, are over, okay? So this is fundamentally what you have. Now, for those that have received your report before, you will also understand that your report doesn't come in 4 pages, but it comes in 24 pages or so, where you have quite a lot of lifestyle modification recommendation within it. So I highly recommend that you take your report and go through it and study it. And if you have any issues, we can invite Dr. Abraham into the group to discuss with us in the near distant future. Okay? So moving on, oops, where am I? Moving on, this is about leadership, the Team Zinzino leadership philosophies, right? So you see, everybody wants to be a leader, but few find between leaders actually are prepared to invest the actual time. Some people think that when they say, oh, I'm a born leader, most of these people that claims to be born leaders are those that have got maybe a rich daddy or rich mommy that or comes from a well-to-do family where they are born in that way leaders. But even then, it does not mean by any way, by any definition, that they are a leader. They are a titled leader, but they are really not the kind of leader with the right quality in them. So to say I want to be a leader is the easiest part, but to be a leader, you need a combination of a lot of different attributes to build a leader, right? So these are a dozen over philosophies. The slight change leader. So this is a philosophy that Zinzino has, and it actually asks us to look at, as a leader, you need to plan for 3, 5, 7 years kind of agenda. I personally have that in my entire life. I'm reaching 60 very soon. In everything that I've done in the last, 40 years of my life, seriously, has always had a kind of timeline to it. I will start a business. I will give 3 years to make the business work. And then I'll make a decision 4th or 5th year if I want to carry on the business or I want to sell it, and I leave the business or let it continue when I reach 5th, 6th year, and that's how I actually manage my life cycle. And that's not just about business, even with my personal interests too. I've gone through a lot of interests in my life, and all of them I put a 3, 5, 7 years kind of a timeline. So 3 years for me to make it work and be very, very good at it. And I thank God for it that I possess some genes in me that almost everything that I did almost turn into gold or turn into gold. I like to claim without being boastful. And that is something that I've somehow, my father didn't teach me that, but somehow I got it from somewhere, that you need to plan on a shorter term. And so that people don't end up with a career like, they get into one job and they're there for 20 years. And because they didn't plan, they didn't ask enough questions. I always believe when there is a leader in the making, you have to ask questions. When I have an apprentice or I have some protege, I get very, very worried when they don't ask questions. When a person don't ask the right questions or even ask the wrong question, it doesn't matter. When a person simply don't ask questions is where we have a lot of problems with, because that person is not stepping out of the comfort zone. That's the first philosophy. The second philosophy is to be an amateur or remain as an amateur, or to be a professional, right? So that's very, very important. So you have to decide whether you want to be an amateur or you want to be a professional. When you want to be a professional, you need to acquire the skills, right? You need to acquire the knowledge, and you need to acquire the right mindset towards this exercise that you are practicing. So that's very, very important for you to understand. And of course, you need to develop people, and your team needs to be professional. So there's a lot of people that I know that says that, oh, I'm a leader of my team, a small little team or a big team, doesn't matter, but they don't cultivate professionalism. So when you are leading a team and your team is just a follower, that is no good. In fact, you have to find someone smarter than you, your status as a leader, in order to make sure that there is a succession. If not, there is a great success story in the making, right? There's no point of finding people that is dumber than you, because they would just become, followers. They would just follow you. The idea here, to be a perfect leader, to be a professional leader, you need to make sure that the people that you are leading will be more professional than you, will be more specialized or knowledgeable than you. So you don't want to lead a whole bunch of amateurs if you can. So you give yourself time to cultivate them to be as good as you, if not better than you. There is no shame about having people smarter than you. There is a lot of shame when you have a whole bunch of people that is not smarter than you, because then you will never grow. So part of a leadership intention is to make sure there is a growth that you can quantify. Now, if you remember last session, I talked about SMART goals, right? So it has to be accountable, it has to be achievable kind of goals that you set. So similarly with the leadership. Now, personal development, you have to create yourself. You have to reinvent yourself. So you need to know where are your shortfalls and what do you need to be a better you, right? Like for me, I know that I know nothing about Zinzino when I first joined in December. So I learned in January and February what this business is all about. In fact, I'm still learning. Last night, I was staying up to 1 o'clock. I was researching about other content about Zinzino, because I realized that there are certain aspects, particularly in the realm of the compensation plan, that I'm not familiar with, because I'm not an MLM guy. So I've never done direct sales. So this is part of the development, a self-development. So I need to be taught and to learn in order to be able to share with you. And for those that I can't, I ask people to help me or help you to share the topics, right? Philosophy 4 is small wins. Don't be afraid that every time you go out and you talk to a customer and the customer is talking smaller and smaller package, don't worry about it. In actual fact, like what I tell some of our partners here, nothing is impossible. In actual fact, it's possible. Everything is possible, right? Like the picture that I chose here. Nothing is impossible. Don't say that, oh, no, it's impossible. The economy is poor, so nobody wants to buy the bigger set. Why? Why are they not buying the bigger set right now? Have you asked yourself the questions? And the question is because this is not the economic climate that people would take financial risks to buy a bigger set because they don't know our products, right? So by sometimes giving them a small 100 ml oil, if you can spare it, is something that is good because ideally this person is going to sample it and feel that, hey, in 1 week I see some significant change or I see some good change. So therefore now I'm ready to buy for myself, my wife, my 2 children that is in university. So boom, you see, you have a bigger win rather than you trying to sell them and say, no, buy for the whole family, buy for the whole family. If you don't buy for the whole family, then you're no good and stuff like that. So don't worry about that. So go for small little wins. When you have a small win, you know that is going to come back in much larger volume and larger success. So always think that nothing is impossible. Think of it as it is possible. It's possible. Okay. So small wins. Now, then this is also the philosophy 5 is big deals or the small deal. So you want a smaller present or you want a bigger present or the bigger box or the smaller box. So it doesn't matter, right? So the important thing is, you know, some people will say that, you know, a lot of things the best thing comes in small packages. That's true too, if you look at that perspective. But in this case here, it's not about big wins. It's not about big success story that immediately you sell 100 sets to someone. What about starting small, helping 2 partners to help 2 partners to help 2 more partners to help 2 partners? That mindset, it takes time, right? I mean, this thing can be so big, as everyone knows, that Zinzino in Malaysia is so young. There's only 1,500 over partners. And we've got 35 million people in this country, and the Malay market is completely wide open, right? So we know the potential. But what do you want to do? Is to get on in front of UMNO and tell everyone to drink balanced oil so that they get a little bit smarter? No, also, right? A bit difficult. So what we want to do is to slowly, bit by baby step. That's why I never rush anyone to go for your big deal, because I know it from myself. It took me 2 months to slowly learn about what is this business all about. Then when I start to see the great value in it, then it started to grow and it started to multiply and it started to get bigger and bigger until what we are right now. So we are almost about 100 over people in this community right now, right? So remember, teamwork is very, very important, okay? So believer in greater power. So always work in a team. So I know there are little small pockets of communities here, even under the Dream team. There is the Ipoh team, the Malacca team, the Seramban team, there is the Penny's team, there is the Luke's team, there is all kinds of little teams. There's the Michael's team also, that, you know, work as a team and understand that teamwork actually makes it a lot more effective. And when you borrow ideas and borrow efforts from everyone, the success is a lot more apparent, a lot more louder, a lot more clearer, a lot more bigger, right? So that's the game plan that you should be bringing upon yourself. And that's to work as a team. If you don't have a team, look up to your leader above you and say, look, I need to work with someone for this business. I can't do it by myself. So there are I know some partners that we know in the group that are very individual. But let me tell you, there is absolutely no shame to put your hand up and say, I need someone to work with. I need to belong to a team. I need a team effort to attack the market, the little market that I know. Okay, so always go towards a team effort, right? Work smart and not work hard. We, the Z Dream team, has given so many tools for you. I dare say maybe 80% of the members in the Z Dream team don't even know the kind of tools that they have been given. So the flashcards that we have, the flyers, price list that we have, the presentations that we have, very few, I understand from my survey, is that very few use these tools. Now you want to work smart, not work hard. We already learned all this back in university when we came out to work, is we have to find a much more efficient way to work rather than work overtime and work very, very hard. That's not a very clever way to execute. So work smart, understand what tools you need. Now, last module, we talked about making out the list and executing the list. And you will find once you have the list, you will find, excuse me, you'll find that when you look for the content for the list, like the tools, the presentation, the price list, and so the communication, the website, the social media sites, etc., is already done for you. Your name cards and all, you don't need to print anymore. It's all done for you. So you have them. If you don't have them, again, put your hand up. It's what we offer to all partners, regardless, under Z Dream Team. Okay? So work smart, not hard. All right? Cultivate culture. Culture is not what you can see. Culture is what you are. Have a culture amongst your group. Like here, we have a culture, but unfortunately, I take responsibility of it. The culture that we have is not so very, very good, because every time we say 8 o'clock talk, we don't start to 8:10 or 8:15, because the culture is chillax, relax. Michael will wait for me. I come in 8:05, 8:07. He always starts at 8:10. Guess what? After next week, I'm going to start at 8 o'clock. If you miss it, sorry about it. I think we need to tense up, in structured up, erect our culture within the group, because the group is getting bigger and bigger, right? So I cannot really afford to have everyone having that chillax kind of attitude. Hey man, cool it, you know, relax lah. Mengapa mau cepat-cepat? Tak apa. Michael ni orang relax. No, I think we need to change that culture. So this is my fault, because I allow all of us to have that chillax kind of attitude. So culture in your group needs to be cultivated. You need to create this, like every morning, a greeting, a warm a salutation with one another, sending inspirational topics, and periodically over the week is to have very constructive discussion, how to cultivate skills development, like what we're trying to do here with the role play and talking about pricing, asking the right questions, etc., etc. So this is something very important. Culture is not something you see, it's something that you are. Like a lot of things you see us, the Chinese culture here, and you look at someone in Taiwan, you look at someone in China, then you look at the Japanese. They're all very, very different culture, and some culture is much more better than the other. Now, it's something that they practice. Look at how we hear about how Japanese, you know, how concerned they take their rubbish. They're in the public area. They don't throw the rubbish on the floor or anywhere else. They keep the rubbish in their bag until they go home, and they throw it into the dustbin, so that they make sure that the rubbish is properly divided into the right bags, in the right bins, that they are fully disposed. That's culture, right? So here we need to cultivate that. So I highly recommend that you do that. So here there's an example by Zinzino that says that, you know, if you're given a chance to go and change France, to all of the French people to change the language to be English. So how do you do that? For a start, you need to change your own culture, because the English-speaking people needs to learn French first in order to go in to change the French culture to be an English culture. So culture is not something that is ordered, it's something that you cultivate over a period of time. So it's something that you become something of, okay? So that's very important. And the building cultural tips are pretty straightforward. We won't go into that, but I think you get the meaning behind it, right? So it's everything about cultivating a practice or a habit is better known as the culture. So here, leader, a pro networker focuses on proactive activities that creates money, right? So don't waste time. So if you created a group chat, please, the group chat is not about something else. It's not about football or about some whatever else. You focus on this particular group that you have working with, to cultivate them, or in this case here, to discuss about content or topics that is very professionally focused to generate income, right? So it has to make money. So otherwise you just continue to be, again, very chillax, very relaxed kind of a mindset. Nothing is going to come out of it. All right. false mercy. This is something that I think we need to also learn and understand. Sometimes, they say we have to. So there's a saying that says to be cruel to be in order to be kind. So sometimes you have to be cruel or you have to be strict with someone. So some people say, oh well, I can't do this. So you say, okay, exemption. Just for you, I will make an exception. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. That actually is not a very good habit to cultivate. So you need to create that false mercy. So while you're trying to do some good for them, but you are actually trying to discipline them in a sense that there is a code of practice in how and what we do, right? So like, for example, our 30 days, our 60 days timeline to be a smart bronze, fast silver, and then X team, for example. That to me is actually a very, very good exercise imposed by the company, right? It teaches you why you need to sell 4 customers first, because the 4 customers that you get, of course, you get a little bit of a reward, but really the payoff is so that you can get Z for free, right? So this kind of little discipline is actually very good. But here we are, instead of trying to fulfill the discipline, we're trying to make excuses and say, oh, well, maybe we can ask for exemption because the time is bad and so on and so forth. I sometimes don't think necessarily that's a good idea, because we make exception. When we make exception, we make exception for ourselves from growing. So I somehow don't believe in, maybe because I went to a boarding school, so maybe that's very different how I was brought up. But I sometimes feel that every rule is made so that we can follow or break it, right? So there is a price to pay when you break all the rules, right? So that's very important, to stick to the game, stick to the intended intention of your leaders. Now, as leaders, show your tail lights, because we have to be leading. Leading is not just running in front and just run forward. You have to have your tail lights. Your tail must have lights so that people can follow you as you succeed, as you go through the rough terrain, so that they can follow your footstep, so they don't walk into a tree, they won't run into a hole, because there is a tail light, a very clear tail light for them to follow. So you share with people behind you, your team as a leader. And to be a leader, you have to tell them what you have learned, how you have learned, and what to avoid if you can. Share with them the experience so that they are following your successful steps. That is very critical. So the false mercy is sometimes to be hard so that you are kind, or to be So in that sense, and then the other one is to ensure that you leave a tail lights on behind you, because otherwise nobody can follow you by your footsteps, or in this case here, by your examples, right? And then the other philosophy is personality types, right? So there are basically 4 types of personalities. So there is a talk, go to GoCore and listen to the personality test. What color are you, by Big Al, okay? Apparently there's a video there that talks about the 4 color types of people. There is the red type, the controller, the competitive personality. The blue type, the party and social personality. The green type, the one's very analytical, they calculate everything, and very, very or very very calculative kind of person. And then of course you have the chill people, which is the tree huggers, the caring personality that says, oh, everyone is nice, onitofo or wassalam to everyone, and very calm and very, very serene, and om shanti om, peace to the world, and let's hug the tree. So you have that kind of people too. That doesn't make a lot of progress, but is also very important to have people like this. So in your team, it's very important for you to identify who is the leader type, right? In this case, a lot of them may have, as I said, they may have the attributes of a leader, but don't have the quality of a leader, because they are not exposed, they are not cultivated, they are not mindful. They are not conscious of the various different small things that we are sharing here about that makes the person a true leader, right? So I'm sorry, I don't mean to blow my trumpet with my own photograph there, because I think there is some characteristic about me that may be appealing, or some people cannot stand me because I don't know why, but anyway, that's their problem. But you need to understand your quality, and you need to take control of your quality and your capabilities, and then do what's best. All right. So here, Oren Sal says that do things that you want to duplicate. Now, that's because the philosophy of Zinzino is very simple. Find 2 partners and 4 customers or 10 customers, and then duplicate it. You duplicate for your partners, your 2 partners again. Find them 10 customers and 2 partners, find the 10 customers, 2 partners, and this is how you duplicate it. And if you enjoy empowering people like what I do, then it's very easy for you to help them to achieve their goals. And all they have to do is to bring you their friends, to bring you their potential prospects, and you do the same with them while you cultivate them. It's very important, right? So the other thing to be a successful leader is to be able to recognize when you see someone succeed, you see someone do something good, recognize them, because after all, the animal instinct in us is we need to be recognized. We need to be pat on the head, on the shoulder. We need someone to say, hey, look, well done. You're doing very well, and so on and so forth, right? So that's something that we need to understand and give recognition. So the 13th thing, philosophy is, hey, be proud. Whatever you have done, be proud of it. You sell one set to a friend, to a customer, be proud of it, because it is your achievement. So you have to be not arrogant about it, but you have to be proud of what you have achieved, because it is an achievement, and it's perfectly all right to talk about and to show off your achievement, because it not just gives you the inspiration, but it also motivates your colleague, if not your other downline or your other friends within the community, to do as good, if not better. So there is no shame whatsoever to be proud of your own achievement. So give yourself a round of applause. Give yourself the recognition when you succeed, when you cross certain lines. So remember, we set goals, right? We set the 30 days goal, 60 days goal, the 90 days goal. We set the 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years goal. So every time you make it, regardless of how long it takes you to get there, is to say, time to celebrate. I see in part of the group here, when they achieve something, they celebrate, which is fantastic. That means you're giving yourself acknowledgement and recognition. That is something that I fully support, and I highly encourage you to do. And don't just do it for yourself, but do it for people around you also, right? So the other philosophy is, there's this saying that, the person that holds the marker is making the most money, which is true. Take the lead, be the brain behind it, so that you don't only just can motivate other people, because every time you learn, like what I'm doing right now, when I learn to speak to you about module 2, guess what I'm doing? I am learning, I'm mastering the art of leadership in this module 2, because I've read through everything here and I learned from it. So be brave to take the marker pen, stand in front of the crowd and say, this is what I understand it to be. Take the lead. Don't let the lead take you just only, right? So this is very, very important. This is so appropriate for Z Dream Team, the Zinzino Dream Team. Dream is, in fact, I always say that, I'm closing 60 years old. I never say that I want to grow up. In fact, I always think, like, when I grow up, so people that knows me always will hear that I have this thing that I always say, when I grow up, I want to do this. When I grow up, I want to do that. I never want to grow up, because basically I dream all the time. I dream to be successful. I aspire to be someone, to have something in my life. It doesn't mean that I'm materialistic. It doesn't mean that at all. Dreams give me the drive and motivation to better myself one step from another. Okay? So there's nothing wrong dreaming, because that's why we call our team here the Dream Team, because that's how I see it. That's how we saw it, because, and true enough, the power of dreams is what Zinzino wants us to be, right? So then this sets us also on the beginning of the ready line. And I guess, you know, if you can, is to take out a piece of paper and then start to write out some dream questions. You know, what would you do if you knew in advance that you could not fail? So if you don't want to fail, and you won't fail in the near future, just write down, you know, what do you think about it? And what would your life be in 5 years down the road if you can design it? So here I'm coming up to 60. If I'm 65, I'm dreaming what? So here I'm continuously dreaming my ideal location that I can be, the place that I want to be off grid, and so on and so forth. So there are still things that I still want to do and adventure in. So write down that list, and there's nothing wrong in making the dream. Now remember, there is a price to every dream, right? We talked about it in module 1, right? So there is then for you to quantify it so that you know how much it needs to get you to realize your dream. That is so important. But without a dream, you say, yeah, okay, I'm okay, like that. I got one small little TV, one small little house, okay, I drive a Proton, yeah, you know, okay, you know. So if you don't have dream, you don't have any aspiration, I highly recommend that. There's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people call that contentment, 甘愿, and so on and so forth. Some people are like that. So some people are not. Some people are dreaming for a better home, a better life, a better car, better relationship, better, happier family, better food, better health, better body, so on and so forth. These are all dreams. These are all, you know, things that you start off with a dream, then you start a goal. When you start a goal, then you start a process, which is a timeline, how to achieve this goal. And your goal is feeding the dream that you have actually set for yourself. So I don't think there's anything wrong with having a dream at all. So I highly recommend that you dream. I mean, like here, just 2 days ago, we heard about this fantastic Richard Branson, right? The chairman of Virgin Airlines. He got onto the outer space, and part of what he said, which is very relevant to what we're talking about and very, very relevant to this little boy. He says that when he was young, he was building paper cardboard rocket, and he can get in there and imagine that he's flying to the outer space, to the moon, and to the outer space. And guess what? 60 years later, guess what he's doing? He's flying to the outer space. Now, that could have been his all-time a dream, to be able to go to outer space in a spaceship or in a rocket, which he did. He realized his dream 60 years after. I mean, hallelujah! Round of applause to Richard Branson, the owner of Virgin Airlines. Just 2 days ago, made it out to the orbit, not that far, but still he made it out in a jet plane, to a rocket or whatever you want to call that, in the craft out to outer space. That is truly a kid's dream come true. So this picture is very relevant to it, right? And dreams are not free. You have to work for it. So there's nothing, I mean, you know, none of us, I don't know how many of you guys here are born into rich family, but dreams there's a price to all the dreams that we have. So the biggest problem here is you don't dream. Okay, and when you dream, you are hungry for it. As I've always said, or someone said to me before a long time ago, about 30 years ago, is if you're not hungry, you don't know how to find food. If you're not hungry for your dream, you'll never be able to find ways to realize this dream. The Richard Branson story was exactly that story that I'm trying to convey to you. Dream, and there's a price to dream, the dream, and when you dream big enough, when you dream real enough, you will find ways to realize your dream, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so that actually brings to the end of this leadership philosophies, and you know, there is a fantastic journey ahead of us, and I so looking forward to continue to work with you to realize our common dreams for Zinzino, with Zinzino, which then directly relates to our individual self, right? So for that, I thank you very much. And let's continue to inspire change in life for everyone, not just yourself, not just for me, but for everyone around us, because there are a lot of people around us that has a dream. And the basic dream right now for a lot of people is, I dream to have the best optimum health. I dream to have a sick-free lifestyle. I dream to be able to do a lot of things without pains and diseases and limitations. So let's help them to realize their dreams, okay? So much of what I talked about, Module 1 and Module 2, you can find it in this Express Start in your back office. So if you don't have it, I don't know what Marvin or Kate can do to help us give a link for you to download it, okay? So on that note, that is my last slide for Module 2 to share with you this evening. So I thank you for listening. Now, this is not the end yet, because we have the invitation of Wendy to speak to Lisa. So if I can have Wendy and Lisa's camera on, and then we can start to have this little conversation. Hi, Lisa.
Hello.
Wendy. So Lisa and Wendy this evening is going to have a conversation. Wendy is going to be introducing to Lisa. Now, you see, this is a role play, guys. There's not a big expectation. So Wendy, relax a little bit. She was a bit nervous this evening. But just have a conversation with Lisa, introduce to Lisa. 介紹俾阿 Lisa 了解下我哋呢個Zinzino 公司係點 and then 我哋如果需要嘅話，我哋可以補充多少。So Lisa, please meet Wendy in Ipoh. Lisa Wong is in actually 你喺邊度啊 ？Seri Kebangan 係嘛 ？Seri somewhere.
Bukit Jalil.
Oh, Bukit Jalil. Yeah. Bukit Jalil in Kuala Lumpur. So Wendy, over to you. Please introduce to Lisa Mortiga Zinzino company. So ladies and gentlemen, Wendy is going to speak in Chinese. I think it's okay. Yeah, okay. Please go ahead.
Hello Lisa.
Hi Wendy. 食飽未？
係食飽啦。最近我接觸咗一間公司，咁樣我就食緊佢嗰啲健康產品，咁樣我好想介紹俾你。
啊，幾好啊！
係咯，我覺得佢嘅健康產品係幾好嘅，咁樣佢嘅公司咧係最主要嘅係嗰個 balance oil 啦，可以平衡翻我哋嘅omega 3同6嘅。咁我就介紹間公司俾你知一下先啊，好唔好啊？
好啊。
OK，都呢個平衡油咧，佢係來自一間瑞典嘅公司嘅，佢係來自樹墩嘅，咁佢就同埋佢製作呢個油咧係響冰島度製作嘅，跟住咧佢係有37個國家啦，已經係售賣緊呢個產品啦，同埋佢係響佢呢間公司咧嘅歷史咧就已經係有17年左右啦，同埋佢上市咧係響 Europe 度上市已經有7年咗噶啦，咁去年咧就到達咗嗰個亞洲啊，跟住就響嗰個香港同埋中國咯，同埋咧亞洲嘅國家咧就有新加坡啊、馬來西亞、印度啊、台灣啊同埋菲律賓咧都已經係開始售賣緊呢個產品㗎啦，但係咧就只係有馬來西亞咧就有開幕嘅啫，咁我哋咧就係響6月3號咧就已經開幕咗嘅，跟住我哋嘅公司咧亦都有一個
係，我想問下咧，咁如果我哋要購買，係你嗰邊有問題係嘛？個線，Wendy，
有少少棘，
係有多少有收咗 ，yeah。
你問啦，阿 Lisa。
Wendy 你聽到嘛？
聽到。
我想問下咧，你呢間公司咧，如果我想購買呢個，我想購買呢個產品咧，我要響邊度可以買到啊？Wendy，
你可以上網買又得啦。
咁上網呢個上網站喺網站入邊嚟講咧，全世界有幾多個網站可以買到啊？
全世界幾多個網站可以買到啊？
我聽講咧，好似有60幾個網站喎，即係講你如果上網咧有60。係嘛？
呢個我冇做功課，問翻埋佢。
唔緊要，唔緊要，呢個我都係聽。我咁你繼續介紹
講啊？我哋嘅網站係得一個啊，係咪啊？網站係得一個就係電電咯.com 啊。
係可以咁話啦。我深入多少？我哋咧係有個成個世界一個網站嘅嗰個 website 咧，就係 zinzino.com。每一個人入到去嗰度咧，你可以有選擇，你愛喺邊間國家嚟自嘅，你就會轉送到嗰個國家嘅網站。嗰個網咧就會俾你睇到你嘅價錢係幾多，佢哋嘅活動有啲乜嘢。總共咧，我睇佢哋有60幾間國家，依家目前咧係賣緊依啲產品嘅。落到地咧，我哋有大概成30-40個國家目前。依間公司咧，加上咧每一年咧而家啦，佢哋嘅希望咧都係有達到10至15個國家，每一年去開點講啊？落地落到佢哋嘅市場嘅。講開幕嗰啲嘢咧，嗰個係另外一件事。OK， 大部分點解佢哋會等到一段時間至開幕咧？大部分咧係為咗產品政府嘅批准嗰個時候，佢哋就會點話就開幕咁解。所以佢嘅意思就係咁啦。所以唔好意思，我加多一兩句。所以繼續啊 ，Wendy 介紹下俾阿
仲要講咩？
所以呢間公司仲有賣，佢係賣乜嘢㗎？呢間公司？
呢間公司係賣平衡油嘅。佢有賣平衡油啦，同埋賣嗰個係 serum 啊，我哋嘅護膚品。佢亦都係佢係可以平衡我哋嘅皮膚嘅咯，嗰個護膚品同埋嗰個最主要咧，其實都係嗰個 balance oil 啦，因為 balance oil 咧可以幫我哋 balance 翻我哋嘅 omega 6同埋 omega 3嘅。咁樣 omega 3缺少嘅話咧，對我哋身體係會造成好多嘅唔好嘅嘢出現啦，例如疾病啊嗰啲啦，同埋 omega 6多嘅話咧，亦都係對我哋身體唔好嘅。咁咯。
可唔可以講呢間公司係健康產品公司咧？為咗健康嘅，我為咗美容啊，我為咗乜嘢㗎？
佢最主要係for健康㗎咯。
OK。
佢係最主要為健康為本啦，即係講起間公司咧，佢嘅主打就係健康產品啦，係啊，響全世界嚟講都係屬於有名㗎啦，係可以信任嘅一間產品嘅公司嚟嘅。
OK，all right，that's very good。OK，仲有咩嘢？其實你講
，Wendy，我想問下咧，呢個平衡油入邊咧，仲有啲乜嘢可以幫助到我哋㗎？係除咗呢個 Omega 3咧，
佢入邊咧仲有維他命 D3、維他命 E 啦，跟住就係 EPA、DHA 同埋 BPA 嘅。咁樣 EPA 同 DHA 咧係對我哋嘅嗰個心臟好噶啦。跟住佢亦都可以對我哋嘅骨骼啊、肌肉啊同埋牙肉啊嗰啲咧都可以改善啦，同埋我哋嘅眼嘅功能啊，亦都可以改善咯。
咁我聽講咧，呢個平衡油入邊有一個好犀利嘅一個叫做佢嘅原料係乜嘢啊？係加咗一個乜嘢可以抗氧化？加咗一個多酚膽藍，咁樣佢呢個咧，佢就係可以令嗰個 omega 3就唔會咁快抗氧化咗咯。咁樣佢咧係可以維持就係因為佢有呢個多酚，所以佢可以維持35個小時嘅。好似如果我哋食普通嗰啲 omega 3嘅話咧，就佢缺少開呢樣嘢嘛，所以佢淨係可以維持到9個小時嘅啫，就氧化咗啦，咁樣咯。 非常之好啊！你比我仲清楚啊！係咯，咁咧呀，真係好好呀。
Well done, Wendy. Thank you very much. For the sake of everyone, this kind of exercises helps you to better understand what is the product all about. It's a conversation. And why we wanted to do this role play is because it allows you to start to understand. You see, a lot of us, when we read about something, we always know the answer, right? So I think a lot of us are like that also in this community here. There's 20 of us here. If you ask yourself the question, I can bet you by now you know what is in there. But when it comes to explaining, when it comes to communicating, that is always a little bit difficult to put everything in the structured way, right? In the order. So that is why it's so important that we have a role play exercise every week like this, because it helps you explain it. Some people can explain it really, really well. Some people can't. And some people know it really, really well, but can't explain it. But the only way you're going to be able to explain it is to practice, right? So this is the first, or this is not the first, this is I think the second, third time we tried this. So every week our goal is to give us a chance to communicate. You see, you're not selling anything yet. Tonight's brief for Wendy is very simple. Just introduce the company. And even then, when she's introducing the company, quite complete, but there are some things that we can rearrange and some things that we can say a little bit better, right? So this is where you will learn how to put everything together after you get a chance to say it. Because like me also the same. Every time after I say something, after an hour, later on, I think, I should have said it like this, I should have said it like that, and so on and so forth. That's because I'm still in the process of learning. I'm still in the process of structuring. I'm still in the process of aligning my thought processes, right? So that is why we need to practice. And for me, I'm so blessed that you give me your time every week, 2-3 times a week. You listen to me practice by sharing with you my knowledge, by sharing with you the points, by sharing with you the opportunity so that other people can share. So this is very, very important. So please don't feel at all embarrassed if the next time I get to call on you, and please take up this a very good opportunity, because it helps you to grow. I get very worried when I don't grow. So I always find things to do, and I'm also scared that I stop learning in my life. So I never want to stop learning. So everything I want to learn and learn and learn and learn. I want to learn different things. So I'm hoping that you have the same kind of interest in your life, so that you never stop learning and you can only get better and better and better as a person. Okay. So now, is there anyone? Melanie is not even in tonight. So Penny, is there anything you want to add on? Is there something you want to share with us tonight?
No, I don't have.
Okay. Someone
Michael,
say,
let Vivian role play.
yeah. Vivian, where
Vivian,
are you?
try Vivian.
I can't see Vivian.
Huh? You want me to be seller or customer?
Try with you, Michael.
Customer.
No,
Vivian,
like
you'll be
seller
customer.
lah. Seller. So you can actually like,
I'm
you
a
know.
seller, yeah. You
Oh,
introduce the product.
Just
Okay.
introducing the product.
All right. Let's go, Vivian. Try and sell. Let me see. Can you sell it to Gladys? Gladys, are you there? Gladys?
Okay.
He's busy. So who else is there? Okay, all right. Maybe let me see. Hey, Daniel. Hey, yeah, you are. Daniel, are you there? Daniel? You see, that's why sometimes we need to have our video on. Otherwise, we don't know whether the guy is there or not.
Tom is the new guy. It's our new partner.
Who?
Tom.
Tom, are you there?
Tom there?
Tom?
Yeah, I'm here, Michael.
Hey,
Now,
Tom.
why don't you try?
Vivian
I
is
want to
gonna-
learn first.
Hey, Tom, Vivian is going to sell you, or rather, is going to introduce you to the product, and let's see if Vivian can lead you into buying a set of the products. Okay.
Yeah.
So Vivian, don't feel pressured. Introduce the product to Tom, and you can sell. It will be fantastic. You guys want to keep the video on, please?
Michael, I can.
No, lay a customer. Tom, it's okay. She's gonna sell it to you. Introduce how you're gonna buy it.
Just get out.
Right? Let Vivian do the talking. So she's been here for a while as a partner. You are a new partner, so you learn. Right? Just give it a try. You can do it, Tom. I know you can.
I think I can.
No, just listen to her. Just listen to her. Let Vivian do the
okay.
talking. Okay? You just
Okay.
ask question only. Okay?
Don't worry, Tom.
sure.
Don't take your money.
Yeah. You're doing well with Melissa anyway, right? He just brought in a new partner, Tom. So proud of him. Okay, Vivian, let's start.
Wait, let me put. Is it better like this?
Okay.
Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yep, good.
Yes.
Okay. I need to sell the product, not introduce, right?
We lead towards selling it, but introduce the product first to Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Okay.
do two products, just the balance all and balance test. Don't need to talk
Oh.
about it.
Okay, can. All right.
Over to you. Over.
Okay. Hi, Tom. How's your day today?
Hello, Tom.
Mute. He's
Hello.
muted.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, Tom. How was your day today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. You had your dinner already?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that was because I was just wanted to share with you that I stumbled upon a good supplement that
Okay.
I have been looking out for it because I know that it's good because of its omega-3.
Yes.
Yeah, and somehow this is a very good product, and we call it's the Syngino Balance Oil. Have you heard of it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because this Syngino Balance Oil is still new in Asia because it has been in the Sweden for quite some time, about 10 years already, and it's an established company,
Okay.
public listed. Yeah, and it's just got into Asia like last year, December. So it's still pretty new in Asia. So how you have you are you taking any omega-3?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. So do you
Yeah.
know what does omega-3 is good for?
No. Can you share for
Oh,
me?
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I will share with you more. Basically, why we don't call Cinzino an omega-3 oil, or it's a fish oil, and we call it a balanced oil, because
Yes.
this Cinzino balanced oils not only contain omega-3, but it's also contain polyphenol oil, which is an extract and extra virgin olive oil, which helps you to
Okay.
balance your omega-3 and omega-6 in your body. Do you know if you have more omega-6 in your body, what will that do to your health?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't know? Well,
Yeah.
okay. You need to have a balance. Okay.
Okay.
The approved European food safety approved. I mean, they have a test done that you have to have a balance of 1 omega-6 to 3 omega-3. So with that balance, you will have lesser chance to get your body cell inflamed. Do you know what will happen if your body cells get inflamed?
No.
Okay, that why when
Yeah.
your body cells starts to get inflamed, you tend to get cancer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it leads to cancer. So this Cinzino balance oil that you need to consume only daily based on your body weight. Like myself, I'm a bit overweight, so I'm consuming 10 ml per day only. And the wonder of this oil is I know a lot of people are skeptical about fish oil because it's very fishy, but this is a balanced oil which they have polyphenol that it prevents the fish oil from oxidation up to 30 hours. So
Okay.
you won't really taste the fishy taste because there is product that is in oil formulation that people are skeptical to take because of the taste. There's a well-known brand called the Emulsion. I'm sure you know. I'm sure everybody heard of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one, I try to. With the smell of it, I really do not want to taste it. Even my kids won't take it as well. But this oil, once I taste it, I actually fall in love with it. So yeah, and the good thing is it really helps with your whole help you to heal your whole body cell to prevent nowadays it's prevent better than cure. Plus this has vitamin D, so it also helps the oil to absorb to your body faster. And omega-3 is also good to consume in the liquid formulation compared to a lot of product in the shelf are in capsule format. So how does that sound to you now?
How can buy this product?
Oh, okay. So this
Yeah.
product is I'm actually able to help you to purchase the product through because I have signed up as a customer, and I'm also able to help you to sign up as well. And it's all purchased online, and then we will deliver to you directly to your home.
Okay.
Yeah. Would
How
you
much
like to
for
try?
this product? Yeah, can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So the small we can start off with the smaller package. Okay. But first of all, I also will want to let you know that this is also a test-based supplement, which is very seldom you get it. It actually have this balance test. Okay, I will recommend you to take the test before you consume the oil. That's what I did, because I want a lot of supplement in the shelf. They won't let you know whether you've been just taking it daily, but you won't know whether this supplement really helps you or not. So this balance test that this company have, Cinzino have, is for you to take the test before you take the supplement.
Yeah.
And after 90 days, you'll be able to see at least 50% significant improvement. Yeah. So you want to know that whatever you have purchased to consume will really help you. So this really will be able to help you.
Yeah. How can I do test for?
Sorry?
Yeah. How can I do test for test it?
Oh, the balance test, you can
Yeah.
do it at home. It's pretty easy. I can
Yeah.
send you a video. All right. Basically, you just need to prick your finger, and it's a
Yes.
dry blood test whereby
Yeah.
you just drip it onto the card, and then it's anonymous. You don't need to put your name or whatever, and it will be
Yeah.
sent back to Oslo, which is also located in Norway, for the result, and then for the test, and then you get the result online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. So I will send you the package. We have about a few package that we can actually select. So you have a look, and then I will follow up with you again. Which package would you like to purchase? If it's you like to purchase for yourself or your whole family.
Okay. How much to pay?
The smallest package range from 425 to about 1,000 plus.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have a look first at the package.
Yes.
Yeah. Then I will follow up with you again.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Thank you, Tom, for your
Thank
time.
you. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for your
Bye-bye.
sharing. Bye.
Fantastic. Well done. Thanks very much. We're very sporty, so that's good. That's very good.
I because
Tom?
of this sudden, I did not prepare myself. I didn't have the price list with me, so I do not want to say the wrong price.
Nervous, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh gosh, if you buy with the balance kit, how much? I don't want to say it wrongly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Lenny, what have we learned from this, Lenny?
Lenny, did you ask me?
Yes, Lenny. What do you think we learn out of this role play between Vivian and Tom? What have you learned?
Okay. For me, overall is good, but if you may let me say a few points.
Please.
I think Vivian did not really like state the importance of having a balanced omega-6 and omega-3, which is very, very crucial. That point is very important to tell even people who is also consuming like like a normal like other brand of fish oil, because by just generalizing, like telling about the company this and that, it doesn't really differentiate the product to any other different product out there. So a lot of people that I've been sharing, when I touch about, did you know like do you know like what is omega-3 this
Sorry?
and that? Sorry, I think that's a daughter. Yeah, so I find that if you tell people the importance of the knowledge of the ratio that it has to be balanced 4:1, then it's actually like people will really understand, and it'll be like wow, really interesting, and then let them Google it themselves to let them know that this is not just like simply like a tactic or anything, because it is true. And that's what makes our product really, really selling well. And then also, I think another thing, inflammations, all this, I think you don't tell people like you will get cancer. You have to tell them slowly that it will lead into chronic disease. And chronic disease can happen for several things, such as diabetes, brain disease. High cholesterol is considered as a chronic disease that will actually lead into heart problem. And even like rheumatism and all this are inflammation that will lead into chronic disease. Because normally, like when we just said cancer, some people can be very like, it's too direct, and they'll be like, I think you're trying to scare me, like this and that. That's how I feel. But the rest are good.
Yes, thank you. I think Vivian was very, very brave and very sporty to take on this impromptu session. So
yes, and I think basically like because it's improv like this, is actually more nervous, because that's how I feel last time, like a lot of information. I normally like present it in a better, calmer way, but because it's like so direct like that, and then like I know everyone else is listening, that makes it even more nervous, I think.
Right. So thank you very much, Lenny. Thank you very much,
Yep.
Ravi. I think one thing that we need to be prepared, and I think this is something that I've shared on a couple of times, is try not to dive straight in about the product that you have discovered. Talk about the uniqueness of this product. Like, for example, Vivian, is a test-based, personalized nutritional product. So when you talk about this personalized, test-based, and then nutrition, it provokes curiosity. So what is this test-based? What is this personalized? How is it personalized? So by saying that, it actually helps you to also frame your mind how to explain what it is all about, so that you prepare this person to be very interested, very curious about what you're trying to say. And it's not diving straight necessarily. Now, that's maybe every one of us are very different. There's nothing wrong or right about diving into the products, but I personally will not necessarily talk about the product first. That's because, you know, maybe I'm a little bit Cheonghei or a little bit Poma. So I always will say something a little bit more different because I want the person to want it, rather than me telling you something and then you say yes or no, finish. We were very lucky that Tom was very sporty and he wants it. So that's good. And he wants to know how much to buy and he wants to buy it. So that's very good. Because sometimes we get put off. I think people, friends from Ipoh had experienced that they would talk to someone about a product. Immediately you talk about a product, immediately they switch off, you know, and they say, no, I already have it. So thank you very much. No. And they try to circumvent around an escape route. So that's never good to set yourself up into, I call it into a little bit of a trap, right? So I always want to talk about the uniqueness of this test base. I always want to talk about this fantastic company that I discovered. I always want to talk about, you know, this, wow, like that also they have, you know, they do a test before they ask you to eat. And when they ask you to eat, the concept of, this is very unique to this company, the concept of you eat according to your weight. Oh, very logical. Yeah, true. So because we can relate to that and you can use yourself, let's say, Vivian, if you're 60 kilos and Tom, we don't know how heavy is Tom. So let's say Tom is 70 kilos and you can use this example to say, because you're facing your customer, you can look at them and say, hey, look, you know, two of us were different size, right? We're different gender. So it doesn't make sense that we are eating exactly the same like everyone else out there with all the products out there. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense, right? I think, yeah, it didn't make sense to me for so many years. But this company allows us to consume it according to our size, according to our weight. I think there's so much more logical. What do you think, huh? So that's kind of conversation about it, right? And then learning about the product is very interesting as well. So getting your facts right. So again, every time after we give a little bit of a talk, I would recommend that you write down, always write down, I always say top 3, top 5, top 3, top 5. Top 3 good things about the test. Top 3 good things about the product. Top 5 good things that this product can help you. If you can start to write all these things down or look at the slides or take a snapshot of the slides, that will help you to also frame it up in your head. I always learn from, even this is from school, every time I take a picture of something, like a camera or using, nowadays I have phone, right? Last time there's no phone. I always bring my camera, my Zoom camera into the class. Every time I take a picture of my lecture, I'm actually taking a picture in my eyes, in my head, because that acts as a reminder for me. So I'm maybe, well, I went to architecture school, so all of us have got camera, most of us have cameras, so it wasn't unique to bring a camera to class. But I always sit in the class, I always take picture of the lecture. So nowadays you can take a snapshot, a screenshot and all. So my belief is every time I take a picture, it actually takes a picture in my head. So I recommend that you do that. Now, if you don't even take a picture, then you write it out. What's the top 3 things of this particular product? What's the top 3 unique? That's why I said the other day in the module is find out what's the USP. The USP is unique selling point. The unique selling point in this product is it's a test-based personalized nutrition. Nutrition, not supplement. Nutrition as in food. You're selling food now. Yes, the highest premium food that you can ever get under 200 ringgit. Wow, is that so? What is this? So you provoke a lot of interest, provoke a lot of curiosity. Test-based, nobody heard of it. Personalized, even also nobody heard of it. So out of 3 things you say, 2 things people never hear about. So what is this test-based? How do you test? You tell them. And what is personalized? You tell them. So you see, you provoke a lot of interest. When you create and provoke interest, you bring them into your circle by telling them that, hey, I have a product to sell. They don't come closer. They go backwards. They go away from you. They take 3 steps away and say, well, no, I got to call it. They do all kinds of things. They want to escape from it because they know you're trying to sell them. So I think that always, at least for my personal experience over the last recent months, I never try and talk about the product. I always talk about the uniqueness of what it has to offer. Then I remember what's the top 5 things that it will do for me. What's the top 3 things that is unique compared to everything else, etc., etc. So every point that you can think of, you don't have to remember everything. Just remember 5, maximum 5 things. That's plentiful for today. Because tomorrow you can remember 8 because you add 3 more. And day after you can remember 10 because you add yourself as you increase, as you go along, you increase your things to remember. And as you familiarize yourself with the product, you can only get better and better and better. So this is a very interesting way of experiencing. You see, Vivian, you know the product, and yes, you're caught a little bit. You didn't come in prepared. So let's get you prepared one day, and then talk, right? Like beginning also. Come on, guys. I'm not a born a Zinzino, guys, because Judy got me involved last year, and I took quite a couple of months to get to know this. So it's little bit by little bit. So it's okay. It's perfectly okay. But the important thing here is for us to have the chance to talk about it. Okay, so that when you talk to your customer or your friends, then you won't find it difficult. And let's learn it because this is the family, right? We are in the same group, so there's no judgment. We are all very open to learn. Even when you're talking, when Tom is talking, we're also learning from 2 of you. When Wendy was introducing the company, I was learning about how she thinks of the company. Same thing with the question of Lisa. You see, a very simple question, we are also learning from Lisa. Lisa was saying, how many countries is actually selling this? Actually, it's in so many countries, but actually there's only one place you can go, which is the website, and it opens up the entire world. So you see, there's a different perspective. And so we learn. When we learn from people, then we know how to answer people. So here today, when we saw Wendy and Lisa, we have learned that in future, we can say you just go into zinzino.com and you can select which country, and boom, the world is wide open for you. And there are 60 countries that you can go to, but physically, Zinzino is in 30. I also forgot because they're continuously growing, 37 countries or so. So these are all very good learning sessions. So again, I thank Wendy, I thank Vivian, I thank Lisa and Tom and Lenny to have put Vivian on the spot. Naughty girl, you. But thank you
Good
all.
practice, right?
Of course, I'm just kidding. And okay, so I think we overran our time a little bit. Initially, it was supposed to be 2 hours, but I think we're just finishing off a little bit earlier right now. So is there any other questions? Penny?
So, but please tomorrow, very important to attend at least the 6 o'clock, the training with Vincent.
Okay. All
Just
right.
try to make it, all of you.
Yeah, Vincent is.
Okay, hi,
Sorry, go
Michael. Since you're on the line, my mom just started the oil. She has a concern saying if she's on high blood medication, will the high blood medication affect the effectiveness of the oil?
No.
No.
I'm on very intense broken heart medication. So,
Yeah.
so,
I'm on a high blood tablet also.
so
Okay.
I can tell you, no, it doesn't
No,
affect it.
she's not worried that the oil will affect the medicine. She's afraid the medicine affect the oil.
No.
No, she said the oil is like so precious. No, I don't want to go to waste when I take my high blood pressure medicine.
To what? No.
No.
Okay, good.
You won't. So actually, it helps the heart a lot.
All right, good.
Yeah.
So how about if those have gone through bypass? Because I have an uncle, I just got to know, he went through bypass, but he said he still feel the same.
What do you mean he still feel the same?
He doesn't feel that his blood pressure is like better. He still feel that he has headaches and things like that.
Oh my God. That's normally not so good.
Yeah.
Well, you know that I'm a survivor of triple bypass. I've got 3 stents, and I have a total of, I think, over the last 21 years, including my incident, maybe about 8 or 9 heart attacks in my whole life.
Oh my gosh.
I'm totally messed up. So I'm a broken heart person. Normally, each time you do a procedure, you should feel, wow. Each time I do a procedure, I feel at least 50 to 70% better. So if he has not felt any difference, then I think he needs to either A, change his cardiologist so that they can properly investigate, or B, he goes back to his cardiologist and asks him exactly what the hell is not happening for him. Because every time you do something, all this intervention, be it a stent or a bypass, opens up blood supply. Okay? And when you have a good blood supply, you don't have the high blood pressure, you don't have the discomfort, you don't have the giddiness, you don't have all this. Everything, boom, comes back down. So one of the way, because I'm such an experienced heart attack guy, so I know months before I get something, how I'm feeling. I feel very tight on my shoulders. I feel very stiff on my neck. I feel very, stiff on my arms. These are all very early. Now I'm talking about half a year, easy, half a year to a year before the actual heart attack take place. So, and of course, my heart function and all. Every time I have an incident, I should know by now that something is coming on in the near future. But every time they do a procedure, I'm so much better. I can feel, in fact, on the operating theater, when they put a stent, I can feel the blood going up to my ears. Boom! It feels warm and fantastic. So you can feel immediately. So if he doesn't feel anything, I say go and see his cardiologist or go and find another second opinion.
Okay, so I try not to promote Cinzino oil to him first.
No. In fact, Cinzino oil will help him. Like, it has helped me a lot. It has given me stamina, has given me strength, but it has not obviously necessarily open up my blockages. That is a physical thing. Okay, so Cinzino Balance Oil Plus is not to clear up the blockages. That is something the pressure is because there is a pressure in the arteries, in the vessels. That's why it's just like a hose, right? When you squeeze a hose somewhere, you find the pressure is higher. So that's the problem. Cinzino oil won't do that for him. It will help his heart, it will help his stamina, but it's not going to clear up his blockages, assuming it's blockages. We can't talk right now about blockages.
Okay.
So I would recommend take the oil immediately. In fact, I have a few friends that I'm getting them to take the oil, and they are heart patient, not having any symptom, but I want them to have a better quality of life. Exactly what I'm feeling right now. I feel very strong in that sense. in terms of my heart function.
Vivian, I think the oil doesn't cure whatever sickness that you have, but prolonged time, it will make your body balance. And slowly after balancing it, it will prevent any other like further inflammations that the body might accumulate. Imagine if we don't actually like take anything, right? So if our body condition is like this, fast forward 5 years time, it's gonna be so much worse. But if our body like say like now I'm like, you know, I have this sickness, it's not gonna cure it. I don't think so. Whatever damage has been done, it's done, but it will actually prevent. So like when I'm say 50, I know I will be at least healthier than if I do not take charge of my health right now. That's how I feel. So we don't actually tell people that it will cure this. No, but we are actually educating them the benefit of like, you know, understanding the balance of having omega-3 and omega-6. But actually, you know, I tried to cook fish. I gave up. I mean, like, I don't like steaming so much. I'm trying to eat more healthy, but the last week I tried to cook for myself and my kids. And honestly, it's impossible for me to eat fish and cook fish every day. I will die one. So it's really, really impossible. Even to eat healthy is impossible. So that's why I'm very happy that I have the Zinzino Balance Oil to compensate all these impossible tasks for me, because I'm not a Wonder Woman, you know, I will collapse one.
That's true. Very
Yeah.
good sharing there, Lenny. That's
Because
very
my intention is because he just did the bypass, I think about 6 months ago or something like that, before the third lockdown. So I'm not too sure whether is it because I mean it should makes him feel better, like you say, after every procedure. So maybe it's in his mind that he's thinking that it's not working. So I was thinking if I introduce Cinzino oil to him, it helps him to reduce some of the symptom in the mind.
well, for sure, as you know, it would help him. Vitamin D3 will help him to calm him down and make him a little bit more level in his mood. Yeah, it's a mood moderator as well. So that will definitely help. That's one thing for sure. But I can tell you, after the surgery, this oil is going to help his recovery rate a lot better. Remember, it works on a cellular level, right? Yeah. So for sure, I am very confident that he will benefit more from it than not. Excellent. Great. Thank you. All right, my dear friends, thank you so much once again. I don't mean to rush off, but I think this is long enough for everyone. So I thank you. I see you guys tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, Yong Yi is going to be introducing the customer product. No response from her means she's not listening. I'm just kidding. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Selamat malam. Look after yourself. Good night.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.